Welcome to African History and Scripture Tales, where we bring you untold Bible stories, ancient Christian mysteries, and rich African history, told with heart, wisdom, and truth. Have you ever wondered what happened to Jesus between the age of 12 and 30? The Bible goes silent on those years, but Ethiopia's ancient scriptures may hold answers that many people have never seen. Let's journey into one of the world's oldest Bibles, the Ethiopian Bible, and uncover what it may reveal about Jesus' missing years. The Holy Bible we commonly read today, the King James Version, the NIV, or even the Catholic Version, is powerful and life-changing. But what many don't know is that Ethiopia has one of the oldest and most complete Bibles in the world. Known as the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, this version has 81 books, compared to the 66 books in the standard Protestant Bible. Some of these books are very old and were written in the ancient Ge'ez language, a holy language still used in Ethiopia's churches today. So what makes this Bible different? It includes books like 1 Enoch, Jubilees, the Shepherd of Hermas, and the Ascension of Isaiah. And these ancient texts may hold clues about what Jesus did during those 18 silent years, from age 12 to 30, before he began his ministry. But before we look into what these books say, let's remind ourselves of what the Standard Bible tells us. In Luke 2, we hear the story of Jesus at 12 years old, sitting in the temple and amazing the teachers with his wisdom. But after that event, the Bible fast forwards to when he's about 30 years old, getting baptized by John the Baptist. That's nearly 2 decades missing from the public record. Where was he? What was he doing? Was he being prepared for something divine in secret? And that brings us to Ethiopia. In Ethiopian Christianity, it is believed that Jesus' missing years were a time of preparation, not just spiritually, but also academically and mystically. Some traditions claim that Jesus may have traveled to places outside of Israel, possibly to Egypt, India, or even into deep African regions, including Ethiopia. Now, while this is not written in the standard Gospels, several ancient Ethiopian texts speak of a young prophet-like boy who traveled, studied scriptures, and received divine revelations. One such text is the Ascension of Isaiah. In it, there are visions of a Messiah who lives a hidden life before his public work begins. He walks with the righteous. He avoids fame. He is taught in secret by angels and prophets. Ethiopian scholars believe that this description fits the pattern of Jesus' life during the missing years. Some also point to the Book of Enoch, which is part of the Ethiopian Bible, but removed from most Western Bibles. This book talks about heavenly knowledge, divine visions, and how certain men were taken up to be taught directly by God. The connection here is that Ethiopian traditions believe Jesus may have spent time in solitude, in learning, and in divine encounters, just like Enoch. Now let's go even deeper. Did you know that Ethiopia is one of the few countries mentioned multiple times in the Bible, often with respect and honor? In Psalm 68:31 we read, "Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God." And in the New Testament, there is the Ethiopian eunuch in Acts 8, who was the first recorded African convert to Christianity. But what many don't realize is that Ethiopia had long been a center of worship and learning, even before Jesus' time. It's possible, according to Ethiopian oral traditions, that Jesus visited Ethiopia during his missing years to study ancient scrolls kept by the Ethiopian priests. There are legends of sacred monasteries in the mountains that held hidden prophecies and scrolls from Solomon's time, which may have predicted the coming of the Messiah. In fact, the Kebra Nagast, an ancient Ethiopian book, claims that the Ark of the Covenant was brought to Ethiopia by Menelik, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. This connection to ancient Israel may have made Ethiopia a safe place for young Jesus to learn and grow spiritually, without drawing too much attention. Some Ethiopian Christians even believe that Mary and Joseph took Jesus there a second time, not just as a baby escaping Herod, but again later, during his formative years. Could it be that Jesus found peace, wisdom, and divine mentorship among the Ethiopian priests? The ancient manuscripts suggest it's possible. The Book of Jubilees, also known as the Little Genesis, is another sacred text preserved in the Ethiopian Bible. This book tells us how God's laws were revealed to Moses and shows a deep pattern of angelic visitation, prophetic instruction, and spiritual timing. Why does this matter? Because some believe that Jesus, during his silent years, may have been living according to the hidden wisdom found in this book. In Jubilees, we learn about the role of angels in teaching men, how God prepares his chosen servants in secret, the importance of sacred calendars and divine timing. These themes match what we later see in Jesus' public ministry. When he begins teaching, he already knows the scriptures, the law, the hearts of men, and even hidden mysteries. How did he learn all of that? Western scholars usually say, well, he's the Son of God, so he knew everything. But Ethiopian tradition adds another layer. Yes, he was divine, but he also studied, prayed, and was trained in the ways of holiness, possibly through the sacred texts preserved in Ethiopia. This shows us a Jesus who is both divine and deeply disciplined, a young man who honored ancient wisdom before stepping into his calling. So why does all this matter? Why should we care what Ethiopia's Bible says about Jesus' missing years? Because it shows us something powerful. Jesus wasn't just waiting, he was being prepared. He took time to learn, he took time to grow, he listened, he studied, and when the time was right, he stepped into his purpose. This is a message many of us need today, especially those over 35. Maybe you feel like your best years are behind you. Maybe you feel like God is silent, like your story has paused. But just like Jesus during his hidden years, God is preparing you. Your wisdom, your experience, your silent tears, they are not wasted. God uses silence to shape purpose. Ethiopia's sacred texts remind us that the world may not see what's happening in your life, but God sees. And when it's time, he will bring you into the light, just like he did with Jesus. Thank you for watching African History and Scripture Tales. Today, we explored the sacred pages of the Ethiopian Bible and what it may reveal about Jesus' missing years. Whether or not you fully agree with these ancient traditions, one thing is clear. Africa has always been a part of the biblical story. And Jesus' life, full of mystery, purpose, and preparation, continues to inspire us today. If this video touched you, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs hope and insight. Leave a comment. What do you think Jesus was doing during those missing years? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay blessed, stay curious, and keep seeking the hidden treasures in Scripture and history.